So Shane, today is March 20th, and if you're into critical minerals, today is the day. The Pentagon's deadline for domestic mineral supply proposals just hit.
Right? This is the Defense Industrial Base Consortium call that went out back on March 4th, 13 critical minerals. What's the response been?
We don't have the full picture yet, but here's what we know. Companies like American Tungsten, Energy Fuels, Guardian Metal Resources, they've all confirmed they're submitting. Energy Fuels is planning to process gadolinium and samarium by 2027 and is looking at yttrium. The Pentagon is offering somewhere between $100 million and $500 million in funding. But here's the thing, and this is what I want to dig into today. The scale of what we're asking these minerals to do just exploded this week.
You're talking about NVIDIA.
I'm talking about NVIDIA. Jensen Huang got on stage at GTC on Monday and said the company expects $1 trillion with a T in purchase orders for Blackwell and Vera Rubin AI chip platforms through 2027. Last year, the estimate was $500 billion. They doubled it. And then he unveiled the Vera Rubin platform, 336 billion transistors per GPU, 288 gigabytes of HBM4 memory, 50 petaflops of compute per chip. And he announced NVIDIA Space One, AI data centers designed to go into orbit.
AI data centers in space. I feel like we need to just sit with that for a second.
We do. But here's where the mineral math gets terrifying. Every single one of those chips, every Blackwell, every Vera Rubin requires rare earths, gallium, germanium, tungsten, and a dozen other minerals the United States does not produce at scale. The magnets in the cooling systems, the substrates in the semiconductors, the coatings on the server components. You can't build $1 trillion of AI hardware without minerals. And right now, China controls 70 to 90% of the processing for most of them.
And this is the week Trump was supposed to go to Beijing to sort this out.
Was supposed to. Keywords. The White House confirmed on Tuesday that Trump's Beijing trip has been delayed. The official line is China agreed to postpone, but the reporting suggests it's the Iran situation pulling focus. Treasury Secretary Bessent said it's not about disagreements on trade, but here's the reality. The Paris talks last weekend didn't produce a breakthrough on rare earths. That was agenda item number 1. And now, instead of a summit, we got CNews Section 301 investigations into forced labor practices across America's trading partners, plus a separate probe into Chinese industrial overcapacity. That's not de-escalation. That's escalation with a different name.
So let me get this straight. The Pentagon needed mineral supply proposals by today. NVIDIA just said it needs $1 trillion of chips. The diplomatic path to easing rare earth access from China just stalled, and we're 9 months from a ban on Chinese rare earths in the entire defense supply chain.
That's the picture. And it gets worse when you zoom in on the numbers. The hyperscalers, Amazon, Google, like Meta, Microsoft, are planning to spend nearly 700 billion on data center infrastructure this year alone. Amazon alone is at $200 billion. Every dollar of that spending requires minerals. The server racks, the GPUs, the cooling systems, the power infrastructure, the fiber optics, all of it runs on materials that overwhelmingly come from or are processed in China.
And the Pentagon proposals due today, $100 to $500 million. That's a rounding error compared to $1 trillion chip order.
That's exactly the disconnect I want people to understand. The ambition is measured in trillions. The mineral funding is measured in hundreds of millions. That gap is the story. We're betting the entire AI revolution, plus the defense industrial base, plus the energy transition, on a mineral supply chain we don't control and aren't funding at anywhere near the scale required.
Is anyone bridging that gap?
A few moves. Korea Zinc's $7.4 billion Tennessee smelter is still the biggest single bet. Extracting rare earths from data center e-waste and processing critical non-ferrous metals domestically. That's real. USA Rare Earth just got $1.6 billion from the government for their Round Top Mountain project in Texas. The richest known deposit of heavy rare earths in the country. Canada is mobilizing $18.5 billion across 30 critical minerals partnerships. The Lynas Japan deal set a $110 per kilo price floor for neodymium praseodymium. And this week at GTC, NVIDIA essentially told the world the demand side is taken care of. $1 trillion is coming. The question is whether the supply side can keep up.
So the thesis here is that the Pentagon's deadline exposed a gap that the AI boom is about to blow wide open.
That's it. Today was a checkpoint. And when you compared the proposals that came in, small mining companies asking for tens of millions against NVIDIA's $1 trillion demand signal and a diplomatic calendar that just went sideways, right? You realize the mineral gap isn't closing. It's accelerating. The country that closes it wins everything. AI, defense, energy, manufacturing. The country that doesn't, well, you can't build a chip out of software.
You can't build a chip out of software. I'm writing that one down.
From Rocks to Rockets by Alara Group, the podcast about the industries building the future.